Assalamu alaikum and what's up everybody, welcome in the gaming desk. In this video, I am reviewing Watch Dogs Legion, so buckle up and sit tight. And for those who didn't watch my previous video on every single detail about Watch Dogs Legion, just tap on the suggested card on the top right corner of this video. And do check out the description for more interesting videos. Now let's dive in. I want to make a video giving my thoughts on the current situations of Watch Dogs Legion. As you all know, the game was originally scheduled to release on March 6, but was delayed because of the Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which has performed lower than expected. Ubisoft during an early call stated that they will release 5 AAA games before April 2021. These games would be Watch Dogs Legion, Gods and Monsters, Rainbow Six Quarantine, Assassin's Creed, and it's safe to assume the next one game would be Far Cry. Now it is worth noting point that Ubisoft announced these plans in early February before the coronavirus was really considered a thing. As far as I know, every single Ubisoft employee is still working. They are all just doing it from home, so don't worry, none of these games are cancelled. But don't be surprised as some of them end up getting delayed because of COVID-19. But for this video, I want to talk about Watch Dogs Legion and what I hope Ubisofts are planning. First of all, this game should not release in 2020. I know some of you want this game as soon as possible, but I don't think it's to release the same year as Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is just on a whole different level. CD Projekt's ride and knocked it out of the park with Witcher 3, and it's safe to assume that this game is gonna be a massive hit. I am not saying it's going to be better than Witcher 3, but CD Projekts are a really good developer, and it's good to sell extremely well no matter what. I found a statement about the release date of Watch Dogs Legion from Ubisoft website, which says that we are embracing the opportunity to take additional time to deliver this ambitious vision at the possible level of quality and bring our near future London to life in the way it deserves. We are confident this will ensure Watch Dogs Legion is the immersive, innovative experience we set out to create and the one you aspire to play. We look forward to sharing more with you very soon. I saw some people on the Watch Dogs write, it say back there's always gonna be a competition, and that's true, but look at it from this perspective. If Watch Dogs Legion came out a month or two after The Last of Us, it would have a fighting chance. Last of Us 2 is a PlayStation exclusive, so right after that, it's limited in that aspect. Not to mention these games don't really have anything in common, so there's not gonna be a major crossover. Now Watch Dogs Legion and Cyberpunk are both on every single platform. Both are open world, have hacking, and are set in the future. There's obviously some differences, but there's going to be a lot of overlap, and fans might have to pick one or the other if they have released somewhere near each other. So with that said, I think Ubisoft should honestly release this game in March of 2021. That would be an extra year of development time so they can make the best possible game. I said this 1,000 times, but this game really has to sell well, because if it doesn't, we're not gonna get another Watch Dogs game, especially when you have franchises like Assassin's Creed and Far Cry selling better than Watch Dogs. In addition to that, I think the marketing definitely has to step up. We don't know anything about the multiplayer, we don't know any story elements except Albion or the bad guys. Basically, the only thing that they have been showing us over and over is you can play as anyone. Trust me, we get it. We would honestly love another gameplay demo, a trailer showing off different hacks, one that shows off some side activities, the open world, one that talks about multiplayer. There's so many different options, yet they keep talking about play as anyone. We are not saying show off everything at once, but there's things we would definitely like to see before the game releases. So the big question now is, when are we actually get to see something new? Honestly, that's tough because E3 2020 was cancelled and Ubisoft were to show off Watch Dogs Legion there. E3 was in June and Ubisoft have not stated what they plan on doing. IGN are going to host an event to sort of replace E3, and that's in June, but Ubisoft aren't listed for that. I still think it's safe to assume we're gonna hear or see something in late June or July. So as for gameplay, we have seen gameplay demo by E3 and Ubicentral, and we have a lot to talk about in terms of gameplay. But as for the story, we didn't really see much. Let's start off with the things I am a bit disappointed with, which is hacking. As you all know, Watch Dogs is a game about hacking, but for some reason they decided to remove some features that don't really make sense. For example, you can no longer call a cop or a gang on someone, and in its place, they didn't really add anything new. You can still move cars to the left or right, but it would have been cool to drive them remotely. Also, I didn't even notice the ability to hack traffic lights. But yeah, overall hacking didn't really improve that much, which is sad to see because this game has been in development for quite some time. Maybe as you upgrade your character, there will be some more hacks. Gadgets. The spider drone is cool, but it's just an ability that you throw down, it's not really hacking. Overall, hacking still felt alright, but I guess we just want to see more. Now the most disappointing thing we have seen in the gameplay was the parkour, but keep in mind that it was alpha gameplay and those who played were limited to a specific area, but in that area there was really no room for parkour. I didn't find our protagonist jumping over gates, jumping from building to buildings, or anything of that nature. The comparison I would make is Assassin's Creed Unity to Assassin's Creed Odyssey. While parkour is still featured in the game, it just doesn't feel as fluid or necessary. As for cars, I am disappointed to find out there wasn't a first-person camera. Again, this was alpha gameplay, so it's something they could eventually add at launch. We just gotta hope because right now there is no different camera views, there's just the standard one. There is not one that goes further back for first-person mode, which was disappointing to see. Now let's talk about the things I like the most in Watch Dogs Legion. And one thing I enjoyed from the gameplay perspective is the new NPC feature. For play as anyone, what Ubisoft is telling us is that our ambition with Watch Dogs Legion is to deliver an unforgettable experience that changes the way you play and think about open world games. With our play as anyone feature, every character in our world has a persistent life, and anyone from the entire population of London can be recruited into your DedSec team to become the hero of your game and the start of your personal story. Being able to play as literally anyone is a pretty cool idea. This definitely changes up gameplay opportunities as some people could be better at stealth, some are better at combat, or just better at handling different weapons. Some people are more resilient to combat than others, and the list goes on. Again, we have seen Grandma, and it was challenging to take down enemies. This Grandma was so slow. She tripped during parkour. It was a beautiful mess. Now I agree from story perspective, this idea could be disaster, but for a gameplay perspective, they make it work. Not to mention NPCs that you recruit can be assigned special abilities like AI clocking or something a spider drone. You can also run into any of these recruits randomly in the open world and they'll recognize you. Seriously, what they did with this system from a gameplay standpoint is ambitious and it deserves credit. Also, I really love the fact that if you try to approach a mission in stealth, that the enemies, if they spot you, will use a gun or just combat, instead point out a gun right away. It really makes the game and it's way more enjoyable. Another very positive thing about this game is the customization. Just like with Watch Dogs 2, there is a ton of different clothing options to choose from, with different stores offering unique outfits, which is great. You can also purchase different masks because it's COVID-19. Just kidding. You can also purchase different masks at some of those stores, but to be honest, we didn't really see a lot of options because that was alpha version of the game, so obviously things are still subject to change. As for cars, there were definitely a nice variety of them, and they didn't just copy and paste car models from Watch Dogs 1 or 2. We didn't see that much driving in the gameplay demonstration, but the cars do have a radio station and they seem to handle pretty well. And what I have seen in the gameplay demonstration, keep in mind that steering wheel is on the right side of the car. One more thing which I like most would definitely be combat and gunplay, and it is. For those of you who don't know, the combat has been upgraded, so you can now dodge enemy punches or you can grab onto them and punch back. Obviously this isn't anything revolutionary, but it is nice to finally have a better combat system in Watch Dogs. As we have seen, some NPCs are better in combat and can punch harder or faster, while others are not really made for it. But this game really shines when it comes to the gunplay. There is a variety of non-lethal and lethal weapons, The gunplay really reminded me a lot of Watch Dogs 1, which was great to see, and the weapons, more specifically, the lethal weapons, sounded really good. And the last thing I want to talk about is London. As always, Ubisoft does a great job recreating places, and London is no different. I believe there are 8 boroughs in this game, and from what I have heard, all of them have a different vibe. The game looks beautiful, especially at night, because of lighting. Overall, I actually think this game is a step up from Watch Dogs 2 in terms of gameplay, except parkour. Again though, this game is set to release in March or April 2021, so there's still a lot of time for everything to be improved or changed. But yeah, if you guys have any more questions about this game, let me know in the comments down below. As always, thank you so much for watching guys. Stay home, stay safe, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.